Once upon a time, Hollywood made spoof movies by the truckload. For roughly 40 years, every subgenre was ripe for parody, and the studios cranked them out without much shame. From the brilliant spoofs you surely remember.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Still a stupid It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah,
it's just a little turnabout.
Yeah. All the way down to the forgettable misses. Here are the 10 most underrated spoof movies of all time. Some were box office hits, while some got steamrolled by something bigger, and some are funnier than you remember. But all of these movies are worth rediscovering. Loaded Weapon 1 from 1993. National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon put Samuel L. Jackson into the Danny Glover role of a lethal weapon spoof.
You may be right. I think we're being followed now. Don't look. Just very cool.
Paired with Emilio Estevez doing the Mel Gibson loose cannon bit. The plot involves a scheme to lace Wilderness Girl cookies with cocaine. Gene Quintano directed it, with William Shatner hamming it up as the villain General Morders, and Tim Curry as his henchman. Supermodel Kathy Ireland plays the femme fatale, a character built by mashing Sharon Stone's leg-crossing seductress from Basic Instinct, together with the love interest from Lethal Weapon. Critics had little patience for it, but audiences showed up anyway. It opened at number 1 on its way to a worldwide gross more than 6 times its budget, a clear financial success despite the reviews. It's a silly, generous, joke-stuffed movie that throws so many gags per minute that they're easy to miss, which is exactly why it deserves a rewatch. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, from 2007. Written by Judd Apatow and Jake Kasdan, Dewey Cox is a parody of the music biopic, with John C. Reilly as a fictional rock legend whose life borrows from Johnny Cash, Ray Charles, Bob Dylan, and about a dozen others.
I'm thinking maybe I'd like to try me some of that cocaine.
Reilly did his own singing across decades of fake hits, and his commitment earned him a Golden Globe nomination, which is rare air for a comedy this silly.
What about my dreams?
Edith, I told you I can't build you a candy house. It will fall down. The sun will melt the candy. It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
By 2007, audiences were a little tired of the Judd Apatow shtick, with Dewey Cox coming out right during the middle of the wave of big-budget comedies from the 2000s. Commercially, it was a disappointment, losing money by only making $20 million on a $35 million budget. But it's arguably one of Apatow's funniest.
Yes, silly, I pointed at you in the audience.
Did you hear that? I'm Dewey's 12-year-old girlfriend!
And the vindication came slowly, as every music biopic since has hit the exact beats Walk Hard was making fun of. UHF, from 1989.
Hey kids, where do you want to go?
Then there's the textbook case of a good comedy murdered by timing. UHF is the only feature film Weird Al Yankovic ever starred in, co-written with his manager Jay Levy, who also directed it. Weird Al plays a daydreaming slacker who lands the job running a dying television station after his uncle wins it in a poker game, then saves it with programming that should not work, like a game show called Wheel of Fish, and a wildlife host who throws poodles out a window. A pre-Seinfeld Michael Richards and a pre-Nanny Fran Drescher fill out the cast, and Orion Pictures was so high on it that it tested higher with audiences than RoboCop had. It released in July of 1989, right in the middle of one of the biggest summer blockbuster seasons in history.
Hope you enjoy it!
It opened at number 11, made around $6 million, and was out of theaters within weeks. None of that stuck, because cable syndication and midnight screenings turned it into the cult favorite it should have been on day one. Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, from 1996. Don't Be a Menace sends up the wave of hood dramas that defined early 90s black cinema, like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Juice, and South Central.
Hurry up and buy!
Sean Wayans plays a kid named Ashtray, while Marlon Wayans is his gun-obsessed cousin, Loke Dog. The Wayans brothers wrote it, while Keenan Ivory Wayans produced.
I hate Whoopi Goldberg's lips. Hate the back of Forrest Whitaker's neck. Ah!
They pulled in actors from the original films to spoof their own roles, right down to Omar Epps reprising his higher learning character.
Finally, someone from the hood is gonna make it.
Here it is, Hope. Yeah!
Made for $3.5 million, it opened at number 2 and finished around $20 million, roughly 5 times its budget. The kind of return studios dream about. Critics weren't as kind, but the movie became a quotable staple and a clear blueprint for the Wayans parody machine that took over the box office in the following years. Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part Deux. 1991's Hot Shots is built mostly as a parody of Top Gun, though it keeps pausing to take swings at everything from Dances with Wolves to Rocky to Superman. It cast Charlie Sheen as a haunted Navy pilot named Topper Harley, hauled out of retirement for a classified mission, with Valeria Golino as the psychiatrist he falls for, Cary Elwes as his rival, and Lloyd Bridges as a half-blind admiral who keeps walking into things.
Hardly a man moving. Roy! Roy! Huh?
Directed by Jim Abrahams, one of the 3 brains behind Airplane and The Naked Gun, running the same straight-faced, absurd world formula the genre was built on. It was a huge hit and opened at number 1, grossing around $180 million worldwide. The sequel came 2 years later, with Sheen, Golino, and Bridges reprising their roles, this time aimed mostly at Rambo 2 and Rambo 3. Sheen bulked up with months of weight training to play the muscle-bound action hero, and it paid off. Part Deux was a huge hit, pulling in another $130 million at the box office. Both movies are sharp and did well commercially.
Kiss me like you've never kissed me before.
Yet they're both underrated compared to the other great spoof movies of the genre, getting buried amongst the Spinal Taps and Airplanes of the world, which is a shame because they are just as deserving and earned a spot in that exact conversation. Fear of a Black Hat from 1993. Fear of a Black Hat does for hip-hop what Spinal Tap did for heavy metal.
Yo, y'all straight from the Bronx.
Yeah, we better than salt and pepper.
Yeah, they just 2 spices, we 4.
Oh, and they common spices.
Rusty Cundiff wrote it, directed it, and starred as the frontman of a fictional rap group called NWH, while a sociology grad student played by Casey Lemons trails them with a camera for her thesis. It nails every cliché of early 90s rap with affection, right down to a string of managers who keep dying in increasingly stupid ways. The story of why almost nobody saw it is the real tragedy. Cundiff shot it around the same time as CB4, the nearly identical Chris Rock hip-hop parody. His film hit Sundance first in 1993 to a great response, but CB4 beat it into theaters that spring, and the deal to distribute Black Hat collapsed. It sat on a shelf for more than a year before getting quietly dumped into the summer of 1994. Rolling Stone later called it one of the best hip-hop films ever made, but the movie never got the shot it deserved. Robin Hood, Men in Tights from 1993. 2 years before he put on the tights, Cary Elwes turned down the lead in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the very movie this one exists to mock. Mel Brooks aims Men in Tights straight at Kevin Costner's solemn Prince of Thieves, casting Elwes as the rare Robin Hood who could pull off an English accent, which the film turns into a running joke at Costner's expense. It was also Dave Chappelle's first movie, a 19-year-old playing Robin's sidekick.
Achoo! Bless you!
With Patrick Stewart doing a Sean Connery impression as King Richard, a direct poke at Connery's cameo in the Costner film. But the movie was never a juggernaut. It made $35 million and sat mid-pack in 1993 comedies, well behind Mrs. Doubtfire, Sleepless in Seattle, Groundhog Day, and Grumpy Old Men. And it opened at only number 6, Brooks's 5th highest grosser. but it became a sleepover staple for a whole generation of kids who had never seen the movie it was mocking. BASEketball from 1998. BASEketball is a sports parody built around a game that doesn't actually exist, dreamed up by director David Zucker and his brother Jerry, who played it in the driveway every weekend before it ever became a movie. It mashes baseball and basketball into one sport, with trash talk written right into the rulebook.
Steve Perry.
Huh?
And casts Trey Parker and Matt Stone as slackers who turn their pickup game into a national league. The two South Park guys are the stars, but here's the part people forget. They didn't actually write it. It's one of the only projects they didn't have creative control over, agreeing to do it because they thought South Park was about to get canceled, which is why they've always been a little cooler on it over the years. It came and went in 1998, then quietly found its audience on cable and home video, where it turned into a cult favorite that pokes fun at everything pro sports would actually become. Johnny Dangerously from 1984. A parody of 1930s gangster pictures, Michael Keaton stars as a sweet kid in New York City who becomes a mob boss, trying to cover his mother's medical bills and put his brother through law school. But his brother grows up to be the district attorney trying to put him away, while chaos and hilarity ensue. Directed by Amy Heckerling, fresh off Fast Times at Ridgemont High and years before Clueless, and she directs it like a live-action cartoon. Co-starring Mary Lou Henner and Joe Piscopo, it's loaded with one-liners, sight gags, numerous sexual innuendos, and puns. It's both a gangster comedy and an homage to gangster films, and it's a movie that was a little too clever for mainstream audiences at the time.
My name's Dangerously. Johnny Dangerously.
Do you know your last name's an adverb?
Not Another Teen Movie from 2001. Chris Evans broke out in a role spoofing every teen heartthrob who came before him. Not Another Teen Movie drops him into a high school named after John Hughes, as the jock who bets he can turn an art girl into prom queen. By 2001, teen movies had been flooding theaters for the better part of a decade, and this one takes a swing at all of them at once, lifting from 10 Things I Hate About You, Varsity Blues, Bring It On, and the whole 80s Hughes catalog underneath. Critics called it crude and disposable, but audiences disagreed. What sells it is how much it loves what it mocks, and it doesn't pull any punches.
Now close your eyes and wet your lips. Are you for real?
Coming out when it did, it plays less like another spoof than a send-off for the entire teen movie era that came right before it.